Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I've got a new Dillon BL550 sitting right behind me, mounted up on an Inline Fabrication Ultra mount with the quick change plate. Several other nice peripherals here from Inline Fabrication. So we are going to jump into, well, this is kind of going back in time, but we're going to unbox all this stuff, get it put together. I'm going to show you guys how to put together the BL550 and then just kind of some of my final thoughts on it as we get into it. So stick around and let's get into it. All right, let's first take a look here in our box from Inline Fabrication. This is going to be all the peripherals. Here's my invoices. Cool sticker. I believe light. That's cool. Got some bins here. Looks like some brackets for those bins. Quick change top plate for our Ultra mount. We've got a lot of stuff in here. Dan was very good to us. And as always, their packaging spot on. I mean, the finish on there is going to be protected real good. We make sure we don't have anything else. That all looks good. I'm going to get this cleaned up and we'll lay everything out and see what we got in total here. Okay, guys, we got everything unboxed here from, this is all come from Dan over at Inline Fabrication. And I'm just going to tell you guys, I love the Ultra mounts. With the quick change setup, I can move all of my presses around. We're going to set this one up for the BL550. So we've got some special things for that included with all this. So I'm going to just kind of give you a quick rundown. Dan sent me one of their Skylight systems, and these work pretty good in the Dillon 550 tool head. As you can see, it just drops down in there. It's got all of its power adapters, some sticky things for zip ties to hold down the wiring. So you have some real good cable management that comes right with the kit. We're doing the double bin bracket, and this one has an output chute that we're going to use. You know, when you're using a Dillon strong mount, the brackets are pretty much made for it. But this bracket here is going to mount on this double bin bracket. So one's going to be the discharge bin, and the other one will be for empty cases and so on. So we have the Ultra mount set here, all of the hardware. We'll go ahead and get this put together. We are putting the quick change top plate on it, and this is going to be the plate that we use to mount our BL550. And if you can see with this special plate here, it has a spot for the Dillon bullet tray, which is really cool because I really like the Dillon bullet tray. So let's go ahead, and then also the mounting for the double bin bracket, I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and start putting this together. We'll get it mounted on the bench, and then we'll take a look at the BL550. So assembling your Ultra mount is pretty simple. You're going to need a 536 Allen. That's going to be for the bolt that goes through the top part of the Ultra mount plate, the quick change plate, and then a 7/16 to put the nylon nut and washer on. And it's very, very simple. So I'm just I've got one side tightened down. I'm leaving one side kind of hand tied at the moment, but I'll just show you real quick. Put your Allen on the other side and then just tighten up like so. The reason I'm leaving it loose is I'm going to put the bottom tray on. Then we'll just kind of go through and button everything up. But as you can see, assemblies, it's pretty easy. If you have just the basic hand tools or even the tools that come, with your Dillon, you can pretty much put this Ultra mount together. So once we get it put together, we're going to mount it to the bench with some 1/4 bolts and some large fender washers on the bottom, just to give it some more rigidity. So I'm going to go ahead and get this buttoned up. The tray, real simple. Basically installs just like that. put the hardware through. I'm sorry, actually installs on the inside of the brackets like so. There's through holes here and here, so we'll use the supplied hardware, get that bottom tray put on, get that buttoned up, and then we will stick it on the bench. All right, so now you can see we got our Ultra mount fully assembled. This is the quick change plate, and this is really what makes this stand out from everything else, is the fact that all I have to do is mount this plate on my press, and I can just slide it in like so, and then attach my 2 wing nuts here on the bottom, here and here, and that'll hold the press down secure. And it also allows you, again, to change out different press to press. All you got to do is buy this plate from then forward. So if you don't have a lot of bench space, and you know, Inline Fabrication also makes different heights, some flush mounts. You know, if you like to reload sitting down, they have everything to accommodate the different reloading style you have. So with this setup for the 550, again, we're going to mount our bullet tray here, and then here is where our dual bin bracket is going to mount, along with our our finished case chute with the 2 bins there that was also provided. So I'm going to go ahead and let's get, you know, that stuff located on here. Then we'll put the press on once we get it unboxed. All right, guys, we have been waiting for this box for a few weeks now. I've already just kind of opened it up, but this again is the Dillon BL550. So you're going to get an instruction manual for the BL550 and the 550C. And again, the BL550 is just a stripped down version of the 550C. And if you wanted to start off with this, you could slowly migrate everything over to RL550C. We did get a caliber conversion here for 223. We're going to be doing some work with that. We've got our handle in the box. And this is pretty typical Dillon packaging here, the vacuum form foam. But we have the press in here. So I'm going to go ahead, get everything out on the table so we can look at it and don't have all this cardboard in our way. All right, so I got everything out of the box here. Let's just kind of go over what's included again. You get the BL550 and the RL550C manuals included with the press. And one thing I want to show everyone, you know, this press, it is identified as an RL550C. But again, Dillon sells this as the BL550 because it's the basic loader. With that, instead of a powder measure, you're getting a manual funnel and funnel die setup here so that you can manually put the charges in. Now, you'll also notice there is no automatic priming system. You have to manually put the primers into, let me see if I can move this up a little bit without pinching my finger. But you can see you have a manual primer installation, and it works the same as the 550. You just push forward and set your primer. It's also going to come with a large primer cup as well. Inside is your detent spring, your detent ball, your center pin, your set screw for holding down your center pin, Allen wrenches that come with it, and then the notorious Dillon Ninja Star there that you will use to index the shell plate. I think I did mention the spent primers. Now this press will not come with a caliber conversion, so I bought a caliber conversion to get it set up the original, or for the first time. We'll do some 223 on it, and then of course your handle. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy mounted up. Our Inline Fabrication Ultra Mount adapter plate, so we can see how this looks sitting up off the bench. So to mount the press on our Ultra Mount plate right here, basically this tab is going to go towards the back of the press, and we're going to use the hardware to mount the press that was provided to us from Inline Fabrication, which is basically, we have our bolts, and those are going to mount flush in these countersink holes right here, so that this plate can still slide into the Ultra Mount. So all of that hardware is provided. So let's go ahead and get this mounted up here on the press. So another thing I wanted to note, when mounting this plate to the press, Inline provides you with 2 different length bolts. The longer bolts are obviously going to go right here because you have a thicker mounting surface, and then the shorter ones will go on the back side where the mounting surface is thinner. So we'll just go ahead and get our bolts put in and then tighten them down. Now that we have all our bolts started, what we're going to do is take our 5/32 Allen wrench here on the back side of the bolt, and we'll take our 7/16 socket and we'll go ahead and start snugging these up. So now we have the ultra mount plate installed. We can just slide this into our ultra mount like so. And you just line up your bolts down through here through the through holes, and then as you can see, we have basically the press is mounted. So now what we're going to do is take the peripherals that we got, the double bin bracket, discharge bin, empty case bin, and we'll put our bullet tray on here, and then we'll get this mounted to the bench, but we're just about there, and we'll finish installing the caliber conversion, putting the powder die in, and this thing will be ready to load some ammo. So the first thing I'm going to get put on here is my Dillon bullet tray. I have a couple extra of these, so it's really nice to use. Inline Fabrication provides you the hardware, and what's nice is it's pretty much just sitting on there. You'll need a Phillips screwdriver for this, and find the holes, and we'll go ahead and get those just kind of hand tight, and then we'll snug them up once we get everything centered up. And there's options if you don't want to use the bullet tray. You can use, the acro bin style bracket. I'm just a big fan of the Dillon bullet trays. I think they're very nicely made. They're very strong, and it's just seems to be perfect to get the bullets out as you're running. So we've got that pretty much snugged down. Looks good. So now let's get the bin bracket on the other side. All right, so our double bin bracket here is going to mount in these 2 corresponding tapped holes here in the plate. The hardware is included, and that's one of the other things I really like about getting this stuff from Inline Fabrication is you don't have to worry about finding hardware. They provide it with you. This is a Phillips head bolt, so we're going to find the hole there, and it's hard to film and do all this at the same time, but we'll get it figured out. There we go. Just going to get it hand tight, and then we have another threaded hole here that will get put on, and then go ahead and snug those down real tight, just like so. All right, that is nice and tight. So the discharge chute right here, this comes with the kit. You can see it has 2 countersunk holes, and it's going to mount just like that. So we'll go ahead and remove these screws. And we'll get this chute put on. Again, not the easiest thing to do and film at the same time, but we'll get her done here. Yep, see, dropping screws already. So we'll get that put in like so. And the nice thing about those being countersunk, they kind of center themselves, but I just try to give it a little bit of help there. Get them snugged up. I don't have this mounted to the bench. We'll do that here in a second. But got that nice and snug. So what comes with this is, let me grab them over here. We've got our acro bins that attach here, which is really nice. Let me get it on here. Just like so. And then this is a double, so basically what this is mimicking here is the finished cartridge bin and the empty case bin here that we'll use as we're running, so pretty cool. Now the other cool little feature that Dan included for us is these acro bin dams. Basically it'll allow you to put more cases in there, more finished cartridges, so it keeps them from spilling over. Very nice touch. Another great detail from Inline Fabrication. So we've got our ultra mount mounted to the bench. Now we can go ahead and let's put the press up on the bench on the ultra mount. So again, we're going to slide it in the back slot there, and then our two through bolts there, we're going to use the provided wing nuts. So basically we're just going to thread those on and hand tighten those. Just like so. Get the other one here. So again, just hand snug is all that's needed, and the press is nice and secure to our bench. So let's go ahead and get our handle put on the press. I always leave the washer here, comes with a nut. We're just going to slide it down into the hole like so, and then we're going to go ahead and thread on our nut down here on the bottom. Now if you look on the press, there's a hole, I'm sorry, on the handle. You can stick a small screwdriver or something through there while you tighten the bottom nut to get some leverage, so you make sure you get it nice and tight. All right, so to tighten the nut, you can use a 7/8 socket or a 7/8 wrench. I got an old screwdriver here I'm putting through it. You could use an Allen wrench or something, but basically we're just tightening this up, and it is a locking nut, but we just want to get that nice and snug down to the press. Just like so. So let's go ahead and put on our spent primer cup on the 550s. Basically there's a notch right here that corresponds with a notch on the spent primer cup. So you can basically, might have to get things out of the way here, just slide it on and it sits on there just like so. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put our index spring into that pocket right there, and our index ball where it belongs. So the next thing we're going to do is we have our center pin here and our set screw with the brass tip for our center pin as well. So I thought it'd be a good time. We'll just go ahead and take our shell plate. This is the number 3 again for the 223. We're going to place it in like so. And then we're also going to need to grab our little Dillon Ninja Star, and it's going to go just like that. You can see there's 4 tabs that correspond with these 4 holes. So we'll go ahead and stick our Dillon Ninja Star on there. And one thing that I always like to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of, I like to use CLP lube here. So we'll just go ahead and put a little bit of lube here on this pin. And go ahead and insert it down through the shell plate, and we'll go ahead and start engaging it. And we'll just screw it all the way down like so. And then we're going to go ahead and raise up our shell plate a little bit because we have this set screw we're going to put in. I believe it is 1/8 inch. Yes, it is. So it is 1/8 inch, and it goes right here. Now, one thing that you want to make sure that you do, I'm going to pull it up here so hopefully you guys can see this, is you want to make sure that you put this all the way in. You don't have to necessarily touch the center pin yet, but you want to make sure that it's sub flush, because as you can see, there is some potential interference with the main shaft and this machined hole here through the base of the press. So make sure that you get that sub flush before you start working the action of your press. So now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a, I believe this is quarter. I could be wrong. Yep, it is quarter. And what's nice, as you can see, is I can just go right down through the tool holder, or I can take it off, either one. But all I'm going to do here is I'm going to raise this up, and I'm going to start tightening down the shell plate until I get where I can rotate it without any interference. So I'm going to need to reposition myself here to do that. All right, so I have the shell plate adjusted where I want it as far as ease of turning and minimal flexing there. So I'm going to go ahead and take my 1/8 inch Allen wrench and tighten that set screw up. And you don't have to go super tight on it. Basically, I'm just using the leverage that I gained from the Allen wrench, so it's not too excessive. So then we also want to make sure we can still freely spin our shell plate, which we can, no problem. And so we're just going to go ahead and put our buttons in from our caliber conversion, and these are number 3. So you have one that goes here, in the back here, and then right there. So 3 of them. So as you can see, we can freely turn our shell plate, no problem. So you guys that run the 550s may notice something a little bit different right out of the gate. The BL550, you can see there's 2 holes here, and what that is for is there is a small wire bracket that goes right in here, and as you rotate, I'm going to put a case in, as you rotate around the shell plate, as you index to this point right here, it'll push the case out into the bracket. Now the BL550 doesn't come with that wire bracket, which I think kind of sucks, but that's probably something I'm going to call Dillon and get, just because if you want to run this, you know, like a true progressive, it's not ejecting, so you need that ejector pin. But this press is intended to be very basic, so you manually install and remove from the shell plate. But I wanted to show you guys that if you do think about the BL550 and you want to run it like a progressive, to speak, that wire ejector pin right there is probably a good couple dollar buy from Dillon to just go ahead and put on the BL550. All right, so another thing I noticed that this press comes shipped with the large primer. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we will remove the primer cup and pin, and we will switch this over to small primer because that's what we're going to need for 223. So let's jump on that. So we're going to go ahead and take our 5/32 Allen wrench, and this has like lock nuts on the bottom. So I can pretty much hold them with my finger. All we're doing really is loosening this up. We're not removing these bolts because we're just going to slide out the primer bracket here. Now we're probably going to end up 3/32 Allen wrench, loosen that set screw, pull this pin out, keep the spring, and put our small primer cup on there. All right, so we're going to take our 3/32 Allen wrench here, and once you get that loose, you'll see the pin, spring, and cup become free. So now what we'll do is we'll leave our spring, pull out our pin, and basically our pin, this is what's going to go down. Let me get this set up here. This is the top. This is what actually pushes the primer, and this slot right here is what goes into where the set screw is. So what we need to do is take our pin, come up through the top like so, install our spring, and then this is where it's going to take some leverage we'll push it down and then go ahead with our 3/32 and put our set screw back into place. Doesn't have to be super tight. It's just holding there into that slot. So now that we have our small primer installed, our small primer cup and pin, we'll go ahead and put this back on. Move you guys over. All right, so I've fought those screws and washers there, but we got it. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and lower the shell plate, because what I wanna do is I wanna make sure that everything is as smooth as silk, and you may have to adjust that around a little bit, but you just wanna make sure as you come up and down that it's not binding up there. So now that we have that where we want it, I'm just gonna hold these bolts down here with my fingers, because again, they kind of grip into the material or the aluminum. So I'm gonna go ahead and snug those up. Again, not super tight, just snug. I'm using the leverage I gained from the small end of the Allen wrench. So now we have that set up for small primer, which is what we need for 223. So let's keep moving forward. We are getting things pretty much wrapped up. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the rubber band here that come on the shell plate. And with the 550, again, quick change shell plates, tool heads, I'm sorry. So if you want to leave these set up, you certainly can do so. With this setup, we have a powder die here with a funnel. And what this does is we are going to use this to manually insert our charges. And this will work with any powder funnel that comes in your kits. This is the one that comes with it for our 223 kit. So to install this, we basically drop it all the way down. Make sure there's an Allen key here. Make sure that's out so the funnel will slide all the way in. And then we just go ahead and snug it up. Once we have that in set screw in place, we can see that the powder funnel from the caliber conversion won't fall out, and then our funnel just slides in just like so. So we will adjust this once we get the rest of our die set up in, and however we're gonna run our 223 setup here, but that's basically everything that comes in the kit with the BL550. We also have another gift here from Inline Fabrication. This is their Skylight System, and I have used these in the past on the 550. They work really well. So what's included in the kit, there's your power adapter with a on and off switch, which is really nice, the LED light, and some cable management brackets here, and a piece of Scotch-Brite if you need to scuff up your finish on your press if these won't stick. Typically what I'll do is just rub them down with some alcohol and they stick just fine. So let's go ahead and get this put on the press and see how much light we get from it. Let's go ahead and see how this Skylight system works. I'm sure, yeah, it's perfect. It's very bright. The on and off switch makes it nice, so you don't have to unplug it every time. But that's just going to provide us with a little bit more light as we're running through the processes here on the shell plate. So nice feature. And again, thanks Dan over at Inline Fabrication for sending it to us. I'll put links to all these products in the description box so you guys know where to find them. All right, guys, that is going to wrap this video up of the Dillon BL550. Again, this is Dillon's basic loader. And all of the bracketry, the mounting, we got from Inline Fabrication. We have the bullet tray mount, the dual bin mount here from Dan over at Inline Fab. We got the Skylight system from Inline Fabrication as well. So again, thank you very much to Inline Fabrication. I will be putting links to all of these in the description box, like I mentioned before, so you guys know where to find those. Just a couple thoughts on the BL550. What I really like about the 550 as a whole in comparison to like the 750 and then the RL1100 is the shell plate diameter is smaller, so you do not get as much deflection. And again, this is going to be my opinion here. I feel that the 550 series of presses are better suited for precision reloading just for that simple fact alone. I'm not saying you can't do precision ammo on a 750 or 650 or even a 1050, 1100. You can do it. I feel that, again, my opinion, guys, this is better suited for precision reloading. And I think the BL550 is a great entry-level Dillon press for one. If you want to migrate this up to a 550C, you certainly can do so. But for precision reloading, where you want a little bit more better cycle times and things like that, you know, having a progressive always seems to help. But I think the way this is set up, you can use either an offline powder measure, you know, a throw style powder measure. You can use an electronic powder dispenser like the Frankfurt Arsenal IntelliDropper or the Charge Master from RCBS. So you've got tons of different options. Heck, you could even use the Lee spoons and weigh those out individually, which makes it nice. You can guarantee that your powder drop is going to be as accurate as you are or how accurate that you want it to be, because you're dumping all of those right there by hand every cycle. You can prime on the press still. Honestly, getting the primer into this cup is a little tedious, but it can be done. I think for me, I'll probably hand prime off the press. You can obviously use this to decap. It does have a decapping chute here and a spent primer chute. The only thing, like, as far as what I don't like, the way the press come without the eject wire on the BL550, I think, you know, for the most of us, we'll probably use this in somewhat of a progressive fashion. So not having the ejector wire to exit those completed rounds into the bin, I think it's literally like a $1.50 piece of wire. I think it probably could have come with the press. I mean, this is a little bit cheaper than a 550C, but I don't think that dollar would have broke Dillon. And I think, you know, I'm definitely going to get that ordered from Dillon on their website so I can, you know, have that functionality of the press with all of the accessories that I have with it. So, but that's going to wrap up this one. We will get into some reloading on this press with some 223, maybe some 308. I've got 308 6.5 Creedmoor. So we got plenty of precision rounds that I like to do. We'll do them on this press for you guys. But if you like these videos, please hit that subscribe button, like and share. All of that helps us out in the YouTube algorithm. And just another note, I want to throw out for you guys, I am starting to migrate all of my content over onto Rumble, just because there's been lots of different channels in the 2A community reloading, bullet casting that have gotten removed. So we are going to jump ahead of the game, like many others, and start migrating some of our content over to Rumble, so it's always available to you. Again, thanks for watching these videos. Can't wait to start putting some rounds through this press. I'm really excited to do so, and I hope you guys enjoy the content that's coming with it. So, but until next time, guys, God bless.